So, we're gonna start with a story. In 2019, we went on vacation with my parents and my grandpa and my aunts and uncles and my cousins to Asheville, North Carolina. And if you've ever been to Asheville, North Carolina, you will know it is gorgeous there. It is green. It's a green, verdant forest on top of a bunch of mountains. We drove all over. Everett kind of freaked out because the roads are super curvy.
They are.
And he doesn't like elevations. So we drove back. We flew back. We flew back after about a week, and the flight in to Houston took us over all of the urban sprawl. Houston is like an amoeba, and there have been all these little like subdivisions and whatnot that have grown up around Houston. Instead of them remaining separate entities, Houston has just spread and absorbed these entities. And it's become, it's like the Blob from that 1950s B movie. It's just, so we fly over the urban sprawl, the light pollution, the oil refineries, the freeways, the massive network of freeways, like tendrils expanding from the Blob, the Langes. We got our bags, and we walked out to get to our Uber, and the wave of humidity hit us like, if you've ever used a clammy beach towel someone else used. I know that sounds incredibly specific, but let me tell you, it is gross, it is wet, and it's just kind of like no one wants to be there, wrapped in that clammy, moldy, nasty beach towel that belongs to your younger sister. As we were driving back in the Uber, we got stuck in traffic.
Of course.
Because it's Houston.
Always traffic.
And we both kind of separately came to the realization that we don't like living here as much as we used to.
Really don't want to be here.
Now that full disclosure, that's pretty typical when we come back from vacation. Anytime we go anywhere, we're like, I want to go back there and live forever and ever and ever. It's kind of like we went to Savannah and we're like,
let's live there forever.
We went to California, let's live there forever. And actually, neither of us had any desire to live in Asheville. I mean, it was beautiful, but it just wasn't what we really needed or wanted because of the mountains, even though I love the mountains. Everett did not love the mountains.
Sorry.
It's a pretty place to visit. I don't think either of us would ever want to live there. But we both realized that at that time, Houston wasn't what we wanted anymore. Typically, this wears off after about 2 weeks. Except it didn't this time. And so I did what any normal, rational person would do. I completely redid my kitchen in hopes to convince myself that I needed to stay here. And even though I had a brand new, beautiful, brightly painted kitchen, it did not change anything at all. I still felt this feeling of discontent that I want to live somewhere where it's one of those things. I told Everett, I'm like, Mother Nature is supposed to change her dress. It comes from this whole idea of like, it's the old animated Charlotte's Web movie. Debbie Reynolds as Charlotte sings a song about nature changing her gown. And that imagery stuck with me from a very young age. And it was like the idea that nature should change her clothes. And winter should come and there should be spring, and spring should bring tiny crocuses coming through snow, and it's this sense of rebirth and renewal. And then spring should give way to this wonderful, warm blessings of summer, and then fall comes in and it's gorgeous and it's vibrant. And you know, even though it's the last throes of summer, it's got this beautiful color and smell, and you get that chill in the air, and you start wanting the cozy things in life. And I haven't experienced that in 20 years. Houston is pretty much like hot, really, really hot, and kind of not hot.
And then one freak week where everything freezes. And everybody loses their power.
That's another story entirely. So after waiting for a while for this to go away, about autumn of 2019, I told Everett, I'm like, I don't want to live here anymore. And that was kind of what Everett had been waiting for.
I've kind of wanted to move for a while now. I've lived here all my life, and I like Houston. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot here. My job's here, but I can work from anywhere. They will always embrace the telecommuting aspect of work, but just I don't know. I've just never really felt like Houston was home for me. I'm ready for something new.
And one of the things that I used to tell Everett, because as a child I moved around a lot, I always wanted to put down roots. I kept telling him I want to put down some roots. I don't want to be moving all the time. I want to stay in one place. I want to buy our forever home. And we really thought that this was going to be it. We really thought that we were going to live here until we were no longer living. Because that's the kind of people we are. Except I decided that my roots needed to be in different soil. And Everett understood that. So we kind of did something a little crazy. First we completely denuded our house of any and all personality. If you've seen my blog or my Instagram, you know that my house is full of like fun retro 1950s colors because it's a 1950s ranch, and you should always let your space speak to like what its identity needs to be. And it's white now. If you look behind me, it's a giant mass of white on white on white, except for where it's not white. Where there's like little black features and stuff like that. We tried to make this house a blank canvas.
So the next person can move in and make it their forever home.
Or they're not forever home. But that's essentially what we've done. We have we put our house on the market Memorial Day weekend, and within 24 hours it was sold. Somebody bought it. And we are closing the book on this chapter of our lives, and we're going to open a new chapter somewhere else.
Yeah.
If you again follow me on social media, you will know that we went to Michigan over spring break. And the reason we went there was so that we could confirm and make absolutely sure that that is where we wanted to be.
Honestly, it was mainly for me. I think you've pretty much been.
I've been pretty much set on that since
Yeah.
I was 10 years old, and my parents put me in a moving van and moved me to Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
But-
Ever since I've known you, not a day has gone by since we've been together, even before that you haven't mentioned Michigan at least once.
But I didn't want it to be all about me.
I know.
We wanted to make sure it was a choice that was equitable and what we both wanted to do. And since this is hopefully it, like I don't ever want to do this again.
Yeah. It's a little stressful.
It's very stressful, especially right now because the housing market is insane.
Insane.
So yeah, we are closing the door on the Moddage, and we're opening up the door on our new farm in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. We kind of bounced all over Michigan trying to decide where we wanted to live. Originally the idea was, I guess I said farm. Originally the idea was we would just buy
Later.
we'll just buy a nice little like 1 acre like plot of land, maybe like a little more, have some chickens, a garden and everything, and that kind of evolved. It evolved for several reasons. One, because I come from a family of farmers, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to have a farm of my own. Two, honestly, the food supply thing that happened at the beginning of the year, beginning of last year, when COVID really hit, it kind of really solidified this idea that we wanted to be more food independent. So that kind of drove us to like start looking in other places within the mitten. We made an offer on a house. That's been a story in and of itself, but I'm not going to tell that because it could take forever. We've made several offers on houses. Third time was the charm, and we found a lovely piece of property in Mount Pleasant near the college, where we can do pretty much everything we want to do. And I'm going to show you guys that in my next video. I'm looking forward to it. So that's it. We close at the end of the month, and we're on to the next adventure.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. It's going to be bittersweet.
Had some good times in this house.
It's been a great house. It's been a great house. We love this house.
I'm gonna miss it.
And we think that the new owner is going to love it as much as we did. And they're keeping our chicken coop. So, that kind of makes me feel like maybe we're leaving our house in the right hands. So stay tuned for the shenanigans that are coming. We're gonna take you guys along on the trip in the cargo van with the 4 cats and a dog and 5 chickens. So in 2019,